Hello, land seekers. If you're looking for land, you're in the right spot because tonight I've got like 76 properties, all with owner financing. And that means that you can start living your dreams today without needing to wait another day. I'm Scott from landmodo.com, and this channel is about helping you to make your land ownership dreams a reality. Again, so you can start living those dreams today. You don't have to put them off waiting for the right day to qualify for a loan or big down payments. None of that. How is it possible? Well, you can go over to landmodo.com. It's the same name as this channel. You can check out all of these properties on there, and all of the properties on Landmodo are offered with owner financing. What does that mean? It means that the seller is selling the property and they're not going to need you to run down to the bank. They will provide you with the financing in order to get the property that you want, that you see again on the website. So how does all this work? Well, we'll talk about it as the video goes along. But the good news is that all the properties that you're going to see are available on our website. Also, the other good news is that because the owner is financing it, you don't need big down payments, big credit requirements, none of that. So without further ado, we're going to jump right in today. I've got a lot of different states for you, and we're going to change things up a little bit. So if you're new here, you won't notice the difference. But if you've been around for a while, you're going to see that I'm not reading to you all of the property details. I'm going to talk about the properties in general, kind of talk to you about the different areas, but I will also introduce to you what to do when you see a property that you're interested in. So I'm not going to read to you all the numbers because, well, guess what? You can read. I know you can. So without further ado, let's just jump right in over here. And the first property that we're going to go to, and really the first state that we're going to go to, is the state of Arkansas. And Arkansas, man, it is a fan favorite. Lots of people ask for Arkansas. And if we can bring up the map and take a look at it, what you'll notice is that here in Arkansas, this outline that I have right here, well, this is the county of Benton, Arkansas. So it's up here in the upper left-hand corner. You know what's famous there? Oh, Walmart's headquarters. That's right. So you got Walmart's headquarters there. And with that, we've got a few properties here in Benton County, Arkansas. We have, this first one right here, you'll see it's a third of an acre. Let me show you how to read this thing. First of all, you can see the acreage on here. It's a third of an acre. You can see the cash price. You can see the down payment. You can see the monthly payment. You can see the terms, all of that stuff. I want you to pay attention tonight to the down payments and absolutely how low they are. And look at the cash price on these as well. You're going to find that these properties are priced affordably for the market and ready to go, all again, like I said, with owner financing. So what happens here is that what if you see a property that you're interested in? As I scroll through these tonight and talk to you about the different areas, well, first of all, you'll see over here there's a QR code. And the QR code, well, it's designed to basically take your phone, your tablet, whatever, scan the QR code, and you'll be taken right to the property detail screen where you'll see all of the property details as they're available. You're going to see everything that the seller has for you. And right there from the website, you'll be able to find that green button that says connect to the seller. And when you click that green button, it will send them an email from the Landmodo site so that you can actually start the communication with the seller to ask all of the other valuable questions that I'm sure that you have. So again, look at this. Here's a property. This one, I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'm just going to go through this one. Third of an acre, $7,000, $149 down, $149 a month for 46 months. If you don't want to scan the QR code, no problem. It says learn more. This is what I would refer to as a short code, the learn more, and the lmodo.ws/the number. That number on there, that will take you directly, like that whole link there will take you directly to the property so you can learn more about it. One of the things I think that's really, really cool about Benton, Arkansas is the fact that not only do you have, where you're located up in that upper west corner there of the state, but look at the proximity that you are. You're right outside of Tulsa. You're not too far from Tulsa. Oklahoma City is not that far away either. You're talking about central Midwestern America right here, not too far from the Ozarks as well. Springfield, Branson's right around the corner from there. Beautiful area there. And what you'll notice is that in both of these properties that we're looking at here is that they're both buildable lots, a third of an acre. Now, I got to tell you something. I look at this picture and I'm wondering what happened. What happened here? Is this from the Matrix or what's going on with this picture? And clearly it's a satellite kind of Google Earth kind of a picture there. But, you know, if you really look at this picture, kind of study it here, you can actually see a little bit of the contour of the land in there. You can also see that there's other homes around there. So this is going to be a buildable lot. And one of the things I talk about a lot is the different types of buckets. And we'll talk about some of the buckets here tonight. But essentially, you know, what you're finding here in the properties that we have in Benton is that they are, in fact, buildable lots. Here we're going to change over to Boone, Arkansas. And, you know, what you're having here in Boone, Arkansas is also a very similar type of a property, a third of an acre. You're dealing with something that's buildable. It's going to be there. Notice from this particular picture, all of the water, the lakes that are all around there. So you're kind of investing here when you buy this property in something that you're going to want to live in. And as I talk to you about the buckets, you know, these would be a great example of a bucket 1, bucket 2, and heck, bucket 4 property. Now, what are these buckets I talk about? I promise you I'll talk to you about more of them as you move forward. But really what you're trying to do here is you're trying to match up the specific type of property that you're looking for, like what you're looking to do with the property. You're just trying to match that up so that you actually, you know, find a property that you want. So look, if you're looking for something that's buildable, clearly you have something here that's got roads, you've got power lines through there. That means it's going to be something that's livable today. That's a bucket 1, livable today. Bucket 2 is something that you want to do on in the future, live in the future. So here's another example of a bucket 2 property. Now, bucket 3, when we got to Arizona, we're going to talk about bucket 3 a lot. Bucket 4 is another great example. Bucket 4 is kind of a catch-all. If you're just looking to buy land just so that you have something in the marketplace, well, bucket 4, that's you. Here you go. This is a great bucket 1, 2, or 4 property. And all of these that we've seen so far are along the same lines. Now, let's flip back over to our map here. And you might say, well, where is this in Arkansas? Uh-oh, what happened to my screen here? Let's see. Not good. Here we go. All right, there we go. See, so if we're looking back over here at the map, what I want you to notice is right over here where it says Melbourne. I'm kind of zooming in on it. This is basically Izard County. And a lot of the properties that you're going to see here that we feature in Izard County is up here in like the Horseshoe Bend area. They're probably going to be up in this area. And as we kind of just take our little Google guy, as I call him, the Google guy, you start to see like this is a great example of the different types of properties that you might find up there in the Izard County area. So as you look at this, you know, if we look at this particular property that's right here, we have this Izard County lot. It's a third of an acre. And that's what we're going to see a lot here in this particular area is these, you know, third of an acre kind of properties, things that are buildable. Bucket 1, okay, bucket 2, not bucket 3. These are not really for recreational purposes. But I'd also like for you to notice the price on these things, right? So we just saw one that was at $2,700. Here we're at $3,200. But look at the down payment. You know, like the down payment is, again, affordable, less than $100 a month. Now, one of the things that I often look at, and I'm just kind of catching it on this one, is I think that to make this to make the most sense for you, you have to make sure that it's economically viable. And in this case, we see that the monthly payment is $308 a month for 12 months. So as we start to look at these things, I want you to understand as that, let's just say that you saw one where the down payment wasn't as, or the monthly payment wasn't really in your budget. No problem. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to reach out to the sellers and talk to them and find out exactly, you know, what they can do. Maybe they don't need to do 12 months. Maybe they can do something that's, you know, a little bit longer. Maybe they do 36 months. Like I'm looking at this one right now, and I think this one's supposed to be 36 months, not 3,600 months. And then some of you are like, Scott, how can you get this wrong? Well, what happens is the land sellers actually go through and they plug in this information, and sometimes they get a little carried away with the decimals, I would say. In this case, again, it's not 3,600 months. We won't be here. It's 36 months. And so that's a typical type of a conversation that you might have with the land sellers. And as you look through these Izard County properties, what you will notice is that a lot of them are in that third of an acre. So far, everything we've seen in Arkansas has been that third of an acre. But here's another great example of just one that's basically 2 lots side by side, a 0.67 acre property. But again, I call to your attention the down payment, the monthly payment. Are these things that are affordable to you? And are you really interested in, where you want to be? Or is these properties where you want to live, for example, or where you're looking to invest in property? Here we've shifted over to Sharp County, Arkansas. Sharp County is 1 over from Izard. It's like if Izard's here, Sharp County's right here. You're kind of neighbors between the 2 types of properties there. And again, we're staying in that third of an acre range. We've got a nice payment. Whenever I see a property where the down payment and the monthly payments are less than $100, I call those Ben Franklin properties because old Ben's on the $100 bill. So essentially, when I see those, I always like to think of those as Ben Franklin properties. But again, how do you learn more about these properties? No problem. Scan the QR code or type into the Learn More, and it will take you directly to those particular properties. Now we're going to change states here, and our next state that we're going to head over to, well, it's the state of Arizona, and I'm just trying to bring up my map here. And we know where Arizona is. I think you do. And if you're looking here at the map, well, it's in the southwest part of the country. And if we're looking at Apache County. And if I zoom in here, this top county over here, this is going to be my Apache County. And in fact, if I just come over to Google Maps and I just type in Apache County, Arizona, we'll see that as we do that, here we go. It's right over here. And so you get this nice big bold outline. Now, typically what you have in the northern part of this county and also in the northern part of Navajo County is you typically have like the reservation, the Navajo reservation. But as you start to move into the, down here below the interstate, where the interstate is, and you get near the petrified forest, now you start to get into some interesting geographics, right? Because you've got the interstate through here. And again, you are dealing with the desert, for example. But as you come down in here, you'll see that there is some treed areas here of the particular county. So as we start to look through some of these in Arizona, what we start to see is we start to see things like some of these trees. And we also start to see larger properties, whereas in Arkansas, we were looking at a third of an acre. Here we're starting to look at 1 acre properties. And that's typically what you'll find here in this particular area are these 1 acre properties. So you'll often find that the 1 acre property in Arizona, well, guess what? It mirrors the third of an acre in Arkansas. Isn't that kind of funny? You get bigger bang for your buck here. Now, when we look at a property like this one or some of these that we see here in Arizona, not all of these properties are going to be buildable. And so like if you look at the headline here, for example, where it says off the grid living, well, that's exactly what you're getting here. You're going to get what I would call, bucket 1, which again, bucket 1 or bucket 2 is a place that you want to live, but off the grid in that case, right? So these are properties that you're going to be off the grid. I was reading an article the other day about what's the guy's name? Kennedy. He's running for president, Kennedy. And they had a picture of Woody Harrelson wearing a Kennedy for president hat. And he basically said, look, Woody Harrelson lives off the grid. He probably doesn't know that, people aren't too happy with the Kennedy hat. But nonetheless, I digress. But look, you want to be like Woody Harrelson and live off the grid? Well, these are some great properties to do that. But when we start to deal with these bucket 1, bucket 2 off the grid things, we also now introduce another bucket, which is bucket 3 properties. And what are bucket 3 properties? These are what I would call recreational properties. So you're out there, you're gonna own this piece of land, you're gonna be more recreational inclined. So things like, I'm just gonna make these up: stargazing, camping, horseback riding, ATV riding. You're just looking for a place that you can go and have a good time. Well, not only does this fit the bill, but also we get introduced to bucket 4 here. And in bucket 4, well, remember, that's where we start to look at long-term land as a long-term investment. So as we start to look at these pieces of property, not only are we getting larger sizes out in Arizona, but we also have more flexibility to kind of what we're going to do. Again, from recreational activities, whether you're going to stay in your RV out there, more of the off-the-grid nature or seeing it as a long-term investment, these are the things that you kind of want to look for, because a lot of times what I'll hear from people is they'll say, well, I don't want to go out that way, out to the desert. Well, okay, no problem. Then it doesn't match up to your bucket system or, what you're looking for. As a result, you definitely shouldn't do it, right? Like, you should only be interested in properties that are going to give you what you want. Now, I've just moved over here to Mojave County because we've changed our slides over to Mojave. And when we start to look at Mojave, what we start to see here is we've got Vegas in here. So here's Vegas. Here's the Hoover Dam right over here. And as we start to look out, now this red dashed white line is really all of Mojave County. And what we have in here is we have areas like Kingman and Lake Havasu City right down here. Okay, you can see the lake down here. So you've got a nice variety of different areas. Dolan Springs. So these properties that we're going to look at, for the most part, while they are larger properties, what we're really looking at here is, we're looking at a different geographic location. So here we have, even though I was just saying larger property, we actually have a 0.21 acre property here. But again, you have to match it up to what you're trying to do, because if you're a long-term investor and you're looking for land as a long-term investment, well, no problem. You can pick something up, and guess what happens? As inflation comes in, as the dollar erodes, land goes up. That's the way that it works. It's always worked that way, and well, I have no reason to believe that it won't. Here where, you start to look at some of the different areas in here too. So here you have a property that's in the path of growth. What does that mean? It means that, man, if you're looking for investment that's going to continue to rise and go up, here you go. You've got homes out there. You got a nice 1.25 acre property, but look at the cash price, less than $8,000 for this one in particular, with a down payment of $150. Here we go for double the size, just not too far from Kingman. Again, look at the pictures. The pictures will tell you a lot about the particular area. And again, this is just to whet your appetite. Maybe you see something in here that you want to jump on. Well, that's where the QR code or the learn more comes in. Is you can actually scan that QR code to get all of the property details that you're looking at. But again, remember, all of these are available with owner financing. $259 for this one, for example, for 69 months. Talk about affordability. Yeah, these are affordable properties. And as you look through here, notice again in the pictures, like this one, I see RVs in there, right? So here's a great property where you can park your RV, your trailer, your mobile home or manufactured home. Look, winter is coming. It really is. I mean, I know it's hot as can be out there right now, but winter is in fact coming. So imagine you want to get out of the Northeast, or you want to get out of the snow. Man, I can't think of a better place than, I don't know, Arizona. That's where you want to winter. And again, look at the price. For $8,200, you can pick up an acre of land. Take your RV down there in the wintertime. Man, that's some cheap living. It really is. And, here's another example. We've got a 1.15 acre property. Notice again, this cash price, a lot of people can't imagine that you can buy an acre for $8,000 of land. Now, again, maybe it's not what you want. Maybe it's not geographically where you want. No worries, because this video is going to cover a lot of different states. But again, I'm just trying to show you what's available to you. You can make sure you head over to or Landmodo, I should say. But if you see the short code, it's Elmodo. But head over to landmodo.com/deals. All of these properties that you're seeing right here tonight are available at landmodo.com/deals. And you can pick them all up, right? Pick them all up. Go get all the details. Again, landmodo.com/deals will take you there. Notice also when we're talking about some of the seller financing properties that you can actually get them for zero down. So I see a lot of times people say, is it possible to buy land with zero down? Well, yeah, it is. I mean, I've seen some of them already, and here's another great example: zero down, $145 a month for 44 months. It is possible to buy real estate with zero down. It's really up to you and what you're trying to do, and see if this is where you want to go. Here you go. You have another 2 acre property here. It's, what does it say? RV ready, corner lot in Dolan Springs. We talked about Dolan Springs when I was kind of showing you the map of the area. And yes, for less than $14,000, you're able to pick up two acres. That's a nice area to spread out on. And again, imagine for a second, imagine that you're taking your RV down there. If that's what you want to do, you got an RV ready lot right here. Here you go. So again, scan the QR code and see if it's a good fit for you. Now, we're going to change locations within the state of Arizona now. And what we're going to do is we're going to come back over to Navajo County. And where is Navajo County? Well, Navajo is located in over back on the other side over there. If I could spell this right, I'd take us over there. There we go. So here you go. Navajo County is located on the eastern side of the state. And again, if we start to look at this map, as you start to look at the northern part of the county, this is going to be, Navajo Nation land, okay, up in this area. But as you start to get closer to the central part of the county, you got Winslow, Arizona. You guys know that song, right? Stand on a corner. Maybe I should go stand on a corner in Winslow, Arizona. Take a picture for you. Holbrook, Sun Valley's up in there. But then you also have areas that are very popular, such as Show Low. It's a very popular area. Just to kind of give you some more context of the area of Show Low, I'll just kind of zoom in there. And here's a typical street view here of Show Low, Arizona. You see, like, it's a town. Yeah, it's a town. They got all the stuff that you might want. And in this case, we have, a 3-acre property. It's just outside that Holbrook, Arizona that we talked about, up by the interstate, not too far from Winslow. So maybe you can go to Winslow and take a picture for me. Stand on any street corner. How many times do you think that they see just people randomly in Winslow taking a street corner? And I don't know the song well enough to know if it was a specific street corner or just any street corner. Maybe you guys can put in the chat, is this any street corner? I don't know. I think it's just any street corner, standing on a corner in Winslow, Arizona. Okay, but here we go. So we're not too far from Winslow right now, and we have a 3.75 acre property. Again, 3.5 acres. Now, is this going to be like power? I don't think that you're going to have power there. So you're dealing with off the grid stuff. So bucket 1, bucket 2 off the grid. Recreational purposes, absolutely. And bucket 4, like, buying the land at today's dollars, letting it increase with inflation and other appreciation as the area develops around there. You'll be surprised at what happens. What's interesting, too, about this particular area is you'll also find some smaller lots. Like, this is a 1/4 acre lot in that same area. It's actually not too far from that 3.75 acre property we were looking at there. And I think that last property that was 3.75 acres, I think it would be three 1.25 acre lots put together, like side by side. But here you have a smaller buildable lot closer to the interstate, so not too far from Holbrook in that case. But again, look at this purchase price. For less than $2,000, you're able to buy a 1/4 acre. Incredible, incredible. And here you have a 1 acre property, and you see the price again, $11,000. Now, one of the things that people often ask me about is they'll say, hey, I'm looking at a property like maybe this one right here that's, $11,000. If we can go back, guys, $11,000. There you go, $11,000. And, we take that $11,000 property and we try to compare it to this one that's straight ahead of us for 2.5 acres. Well, the 2.5 acres is basically half the price of the 1 acre. And people say, well, why is that? Well, there's a lot of different, variations in properties, for example. One of the main drivers in these properties that we see here would be really around utilities. So most likely that 1 acre property for $11,000 is going to be stacked with utilities galore, where something like this is going to be more remote. Maybe, power generation will be solar or wind. It's a different dynamic, right? And then even something like this. Now, this is a picture of the area. I know that, but essentially, you'll see in there, but this is one of the things that makes this county so beautiful is just in that headline there. Home is where you can park it, right? So bring your RV out to this one. Here you have a 1/3 of an acre, right? And in that same county, look at this. Now you've got 2.81 acre property, same county. Notice the houses up there in the picture. You got different homes in there. I like the shape of this particular property too. It's like, looks like somewhat like a sideways Oklahoma. So you got a nice driveway going up there to the property, and then it kind of opens out for you. So lots of variation there. But again, look at the price here. $26,000 gets you, 2, almost 3 acres where you can actually build a house. That's not too bad. Now, this is not correct, okay? Like, I can tell you this is not correct. I'm not sure why it says Arizona, Van Buren, Arizona, but Van Buren, Arkansas. So I'm not sure why that one's in here, but essentially, it should have been in the Arkansas batch. But as we look at this, it's also 1/3 of an acre like we saw there in that particular area. Now, you guys know California, right? Like, California is on the west coast. I say east because, I don't know, it's the left coast, right? So where are we dealing? We're dealing with Kern, California. And Kern is going to be in the southern area there. It's going to be Southern California. And here, you've got a nice buildable lot. It's 0.15 acres. Again, nice buildable lot. Street there. It's in California City here in the Southern California. It's all yours for, $2,300. And it's funny because people talk a lot about, the price of California land. Well, this lot's a lot less than even some of the land in Florida, for example. So I don't know, maybe Florida's changed spots with California in terms of land prices. But here we have another, property here in Kern County. It's 1.25 acres. And again, look at the asking price here for 1.25 acres in Southern California with power running by. It's a steal. You cannot replicate that in other areas. Now, when we talk about Modoc, okay, so Modoc is up in the northern part of California. And so as we look at our map, if we come back over to our map, Modoc is going to be up in this corner right over here, right? Like, it's just, you can see the Modoc National Forest. Let me see if I can get this in here. Modoc County. Man, if I could type, that'd be dangerous. There we go. There's Modoc County right here. So you got Modoc County right over here. You got some nice forest areas in there, and that's what we're seeing back over here on the slide. As we're seeing this back over here. What I'd like for you to notice, though, is I'd love for you to notice that not only are we dealing with Modoc here, but we've got Klamath, Oregon. You got this whole area here, and this is an area that has been known in the past, kind of referred to as the land of Jefferson, if you will. And it's really the Jefferson territory specifically, or the state of Jefferson, I should actually say, the state of Jefferson. And the thing about the state of Jefferson is, it's a proposed state of the southern, Oregon area, Northern California. Will it ever go anywhere? No, it's never going to go anywhere. They've been talking about this, for 100 and something years. It's never going to go anywhere. But that said, you're dealing with a more remote area of California than you are in other spots, okay? And again, look at this. You have almost a 1 acre property for $7,600. Can't beat that one. And here you have a 1.53 acre property. Again, notice it says perfect for camping and building a cabin. It looks like from the picture that there's actually like a trailer put on there for a period of time. But this can be yours for less than $10,000. And you're like, well, I don't have $10,000. No problem. Even at $500, that's what it was, $500. Yeah, $500 down. That's the way to start. All with owner financing. No banks required. You can't beat that. Now, as we switch over to Colorado here, as I zoom out on my map and I come back over to Colorado, what you're going to find is, in southern Colorado over here, right over here near, this one right here. You're going to find a lot of properties here in the San Luis Valley. That's this area right here. Notice you got Colorado on the northern side of this line, New Mexico down there. If we zoom out, you can kind of see, and you've got Fort Garland and San Luis Valley. You got the valley down here in the Rio Grande River right over here. Nice bridges right over here. Okay. So you've got a nice little area here. Most of the properties in this specific area are going to be 5 acres or multiples thereof. So as you look at this, you've got a 10-acre property here, $18,000. And I always joke that in Costilla, Colorado, what you have is those $1 million views of Colorado without the $1 million price points. So you'll often find, again, most properties are very, very close to these 5-acre properties. There are some exceptions, but it's almost like when they divide up this county, they just went through and made everything 5 acres, 5 acres, 5 acres, 5 acres, 5 acres. And you'll see as we start to change some of these slides, they're 5 acres. But again, I call to your attention the cash price, the down payment amount, and depending on what you're trying to do, Costilla has a lot of different variety in terms of the buckets. Bucket 1, 2, 3, or 4. We've kind of talked about them, but if I looked at a property like this one, for example, this is probably a bucket 1, bucket 2 off the grid. Costilla does not do a lot with recreational purposes, right? Like you're not going to be able to camp on these particular properties. Not for long, at least. So in that case, you're not living off the grid over there either. You're kind of got to get some power, some utilities in there. But essentially, again, we see just a series of these 5-acre properties, again, with varying price points. And if you want to learn more about them and see which one's a good fit for you, you need to scan a QR code or grab that short code that's on the bottom. And if you're like, Scott, this thing is moving too fast, man, I can't do it. No problem. Because all of the properties are available at landmodo.com/deals right up here. I actually have a banner up there for you where they are. And so remember, you can always go to landmodo.com/deals and start to look at all of these things and all of these properties. But again, I'm just trying to come here to let you know what's available. And again, look at this. We talked about 0 down. Well, here's another great example of a 0 down property. That one actually said 60-day money-back guarantee. So how would a 60-day money-back guarantee work? Well, a lot of these sellers realize that you're not close to the property and that you might see a property that you like, that you're interested in. And so maybe they understand, you should ask them, right? Like, do you have a money-back guarantee? Because they don't mind offering you a property. You start the seller financing on it. You own it for, some time. It gives you time to go out to the property, take a look at it, walk on it, and make sure it's a good fit for you. And once it is, then you're good. But if not, you can call them and say, it's not a good fit for me. But again, all the rules are different for each individual seller. So that's something that you want to talk to them about and understand, hey, is there a money back guarantee? Is there, what happens if I ask for a refund? What happens to my deposit? What happens if there's a dock fee? All of those things. These are all questions that you might want to ask, well, in advance, okay? Now, we're going to shift gears here. We're going to head over to the state of Florida, my home state. And right down here, I talk about it all the time. Right down here is my favorite county, is Charlotte County, Florida. And what I really love about Charlotte is that what you'll find is that most of the properties that you're going to look at are kind of in this upper area up here, okay? Or you could come down over here. You take this bridge across the river, and you could come down in here, and you can see, like, this is just beautiful area. And look at this. Look how close you are to the water right here, right? So, like, you just got a beautiful area over there. Another popular spot is over on this side, just south of Punta Gorda. And as you start to look in here is you actually have right over here, you've got some housing. Let's go to the satellite map. You got some housing in here. And so you might see some of the properties in here. So if you see a property that's a quarter acre in Charlotte County, it's probably to the north up there. If you're looking at a smaller property, like a 0.17 acre property, it's probably in this area called Tropical Golf Acres. But here we have a nice buildable lot in Charlotte County. Most of these things are going to be a quarter acre to a third of an acre. Again, yes, the price of the properties in Florida are more expensive. It's all driven by supply and demand. And like, there's a lot of people that are trying to move to Florida. That's just the way that it is, right? Charlotte County, I was looking at some numbers the other day. Charlotte County has a lot of builders going into that area. So there's lots of home builders that are buying properties in here. By the way, this is one of those 0.17 acre properties I was telling you about. It's down in that southern area. It's an area called Tropical Golf Acres. But again, in this case, you're pretty close to the water, but you're also close to Fort Myers, not too far from Naples. And Charlotte County is also great because you're dealing with Sarasota and some other places that are just super, super close by. Now, as we shifted here, we actually shifted over here to Highlands County. And the thing about Highlands County is it's more inland. So if you look at Florida and you got that big lake in the middle, this is inland. It's over towards the big lake of Okeechobee. And what you have in here is you've got this. These are typically areas like Sebring and Avon Park. Lake Placid's down in that area. But yeah, you've got some nice areas in there. And as we switch over, see, we only had one there in Highlands, but now we switched over to Putnam. And here in Putnam, what do we have? Well, Putnam's, first of all, is up by St. Augustine. And I can tell you that there is just an enormous amount of interest in land in Putnam. It's probably one of our most searched areas on landmodo.com. Putnam is. And, what you typically see up here is these buildable lots. I call them quarter acres, but okay, it's 0.22 acres. It's all within that same little range there. You'll see a lot of 0.22 acres. These are buildable. What I like about this particular area is it is more of that natural Florida. Okay, you're not seeing a lot of home builders in there today. So this is also offering you flexibility, like mobile homes. Amazingly enough, not every area is going to allow you to build a mobile home, which is really crazy to me. But yeah, it's not, it's just the way that it works, right? But you'll notice that there are a lot of properties here in Putnam County. And again, most of them are going to range in that quarter acre lot. You might say, man, why so many? Because there's a big search for land in this particular area, probably because it's one of the last remaining most affordable spots of Florida. Okay, so Putnam County, here you have a 0.43 acre property with an asking price of less than $10,500. But again, look at the down payments, look at the monthly payments, and look at the terms. Can your budget support these? Does it match up to what you want? And if so, even if it doesn't, reach out to that seller and talk to them. Because as you'll see, some of these properties, we've seen some for 12 months, and we see things like this for 60 months. Just talk to them. I'm telling you, just talk to them. You'll be surprised at what you can do. Here's one that's 72 months. So again, $206 a month. You really can't argue with that. And again, Putnam is so popular, I think, simply because of the fact that it's really just Florida untouched in its natural sense. All right, we're going to change states now. We're going to head over to North Carolina, and we only have one property in North Carolina right now. It's in Ashe, North Carolina. And you're like, well, where's that? Well, guess what? It's basically on the northern side, northwestern side of North Carolina. So you're bordering Tennessee over there on the west side, and Virginia on the north side. Let's look at our map here. Yeah, Virginia. Okay, so if we look at our map, you'll see that you're not too far from Johnson City, and you're over here in Ashe. So you're dealing with just north of Blowing Rock and outside of to the north of Charlotte. You can see where Charlotte's located. So here, what you're going to find here in Ashe is a buildable lot. Okay, owner financing. Again, what does that mean? No credit check. Look at the down payment, $1,700, $1,800 for a 2-acre property in North Carolina. And again, how do you learn more about it? Scan the QR code and go to town. Okay. All right. So we're going to change states now. We're going to head over to Luna, New Mexico. Probably one of the most affordable parts of America, believe it or not. Like, just the pricing of land in Luna or even New Mexico is just ridiculous. Look at this, 10 acres for $15,000, $16,000. So I love Florida, man. I love me some Florida land. But guess what? You know what? 10 acres for $16,000. You honestly struggle to buy a quarter acre for half an acre for $10,000 down here. So biggest bang for your buck? Absolutely New Mexico. 10 acres with power. Check it out. Scan the QR code. See if it's a good fit. But look, let's just look at how affordable this is, right? You've got a 1-acre property on here. So 1 acre is coming in at $3,400 on this one. And as we keep looking, 2.5 acres for 8,500. So just incredible deals. Yeah, all in New Mexico. Who knew that New Mexico was just so affordable? Half acre, look at this, half acre for $1,000. That's not the down payment. That's, you whip out $1,000, it's all yours. I saw on Reddit the other day that someone was saying that their grandfather had passed away, and they went to the safe deposit box and they opened up the safe deposit box, and there was 4 $1,000 bills, and then a bill from, like, I don't know, 1920s or 1930s. But yeah, go get yourself $1,000 bill and it's all yours. Just whip it out. Not too many people see that. 2.5 acres here in Torrance, $7,500. Valencia, another very affordable spot here. If you're looking for the cul-de-sac, you want to live on a cul-de-sac, well, here you go. You got a nice cul-de-sac property there, a 1/4 acre for $1,200. Come on, New Mexico is bringing it in with the low-cost land, right? But that's all we have in New Mexico. Now we're going to change over to Nevada. And up in Nevada, we're going to go to Elko. And I think all of the properties that we're going to see here in Nevada are in Elko. And here we go. Look at this, 2.5 acre property here, Elko. Where is Elko? Well, if you imagine the map between Reno and Salt Lake City, it's kind of in the middle. Not really. It kind of more favors Salt Lake City than it does Reno, but kind of gives you the picture. You're northern Nevada up there. And yeah, look at this, 2.5 acres. I believe that this is in the, no, I don't believe that because it's not in the right county. I don't know, it's somewhere in the county, but notice you got power to the area. It's buildable. You're gonna be able to build on there. Great value. And then we keep that same 2 acres going. And here we drop the price to $8,500 or $7,500, $7,600. So there you go. You can definitely pick up a piece of land here in Nevada. $249 is what I've seen so far. Another 2 acre property. And that's probably what we're going to see a lot of here in Elko are these 2 acre properties, somewhere in that range. It seems to be, I mean, there's bigger lots in Elko too. Here's a 10 acre property, but your mileage may vary. Now look, I want to point out to you here, I want you to take a look at this one, study this one for a minute. 10 acres, $11,000. That's almost $1,000 an acre, guys. You cannot find much land left in this country for $1,000 an acre. You really can't. New Mexico, we just saw one down there, but here you go. Look at this one. And this is, the land seller on this one is Kim. Kim from Hannah Land Investors. Look, scan the QR code, go send Kim a note and say, come on, Kim, can't you do $1,000 an acre? I'm telling you, $1,000 an acre, that's a bargain. It will never be $1,000 an acre. Never again, right? Just, the old joke that says the best time to buy land was 20 years ago. Second best time is today. So there you go. You're not going to be able to go back to $1,000 an acre. I get a laugh sometimes when people will comment and say, like, I remember when that property a few years ago was selling for this and it's overpriced. Well, you can say it's overpriced today, but the reality is that as the government has printed more and more dollars, causing the inflation that we've seen run up, okay, the inflation caused all of the assets to rise. And I don't think, and I heard Dave Ramsey say this the other day, these prices aren't going to drop back down again. They're not going to drop like a rock. Now, some people will say, well, back in 2008, they were dropping. Well, 2008 was a really unique situation because it was an entire housing crash. And you can go find this on Dave Ramsey's channel somewhere, but he talks about, you won't probably see that in his entire career. It's the first and only time that he's seen that. He's seen isolated drops, but not a systemic drop. So, you've got the opportunity to pick up land today at what will probably be the lowest price of our lifetime. And just think about it, right? Like, think about passing this on to the next generation. It's there. And I'm looking at this picture. I'm just looking at the stunning beauty of this thing, just the natural environment of it. I see that truck down there and some homes in the background. This is telling me that this is a drone video. And you should ask the seller, scan the QR code and ask them, like, you got a copy of the drone video, and just see for yourself just how beautiful this particular area is. So as we start to wrap up here in Elko, you just start to see a variety of property sizes. We've seen the 10 acres. We've seen down to a 1 acre. Lots of different options there for you. But we are going to shift over to Klamath, Oregon. That's Southern Oregon. It's the state of Jefferson, as I joked earlier about being in that southern area, just northern California. I don't know if you're familiar with that whole concept, but you could definitely Google it, like Territory of Jefferson, or I think it's the state of Jefferson. It has to be the state of Jefferson. You just go Google that and go down a rabbit hole of information here, because it is quite interesting to see where that's going to take you. Now we've shifted here. We only had that one property in Oregon, but now we're moving over to Texas here. And so, Texas is a mixed bag as well, because they can go, they always like to say everything's bigger in Texas, but we start off with a very small property in Texas. Come on, let's be honest. It's small. But again, where is it? You got to scan the QR code, figure out where it is, I think that this is going to be more near the, between Dallas and Houston area. I think that's where this one is, in Camp, Texas. But you could go check that one out and see for sure. But yeah, you're going to be a different type of property and property size here, as opposed to West Texas. Like this one's more in West Texas, Presidio, Texas. Here you're dealing with 20 acres, a price range of almost $25,000. But notice, please, it says 0 down. Come on, man, 0 down, and you control 20 acres. You got to check it out. Go see if this one's a good fit for you or not, right? Here you have another property. It's 10 acres, okay? 10 acres in Presidio. There's another one to go check it out. Go see, okay? These are affordable properties. And notice, guys, what are we dealing with? We're dealing with $1,000 an acre. That's what we're dealing with. Again, you're not going to find too many areas left in this country where it's $1,000 an acre or less. Now, here we go. This one is just outside of Houston, okay, near Cold Spring. And again, buildable lot, higher price property, power, utilities, infrastructure, all that good stuff is here. You can check this one out and see if this one's a good fit for you or not. And I think that this is coming up to, we're going to change states here and head over to Mason, Washington. And look, 0.45 acre property, you're dealing with a buildable lot, $45,000. Check it out. Learn more. Scan the QR code or type in the short code. And remember, all of the properties that you see on this video tonight are all available on landmodo.com/deals. landmodo.com/deals. Now, I hope that you found a land connection. I always enjoy spending some time with you. I'm sorry if you love the old format and I had to change it up tonight. I just couldn't run through all of the numbers because I have to change things up a little bit. So we changed it up. I kind of gave you a little bit of commentary about the different areas. Took you on a tour of America. Always love spending time with you. If you did not find a land connection, scroll to the top of landmodo.com. Go to where it says land connection. List out what you're looking for, and I'll